time, we should stick to 5 minutes, and at the end of 5 minutes, a note will be given 1 more minute for somebody to wind down. So, Mr. Mike Ozekhome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A 92-year-old man still struggling as to how to make Nigeria better after being Secretary General of the Commonwealth of Nations, 57 of them, with 2.5 billion people. If things were right, I do not think at your age we should be here talking about a new constitution and the legal and legitimate ways of midwifing a new constitution. But before you talk about having a new constitution, we must know what is wrong with the present constitution. We're not just being romantic. We're not just being philosophical or theatrical, practicing sophistry by saying we need a new constitution. One, the present constitution was militarily imposed as a schedule attached to Decree number 24 of 1999. For many of us who do not know, the 1999 elections were actually held in Nigeria without a constitution. That is not just the reason. The present constitution is unitary in nature, in everything. It is not federalist. And that is why there is over-centralization of power at the center. And that is why all political actors kill themselves to go to Abuja, because that is where the national cake is, where it is being shared, even though no one cares how the cake is being baked. You ask yourself one question, but for the constitution, why would we have 45 ministers? It's the constitution that says that. Why, for God's sake, are we having 109 senators with about 57 committees, 360 members of the House of Representatives with about 89 committees? Each committee is a house in itself because it has workers, special advisors, special assistants, personal assistants. So the money that was to be freed to carry out capital projects are used for recurrent expenditure, a lot of them for debt servicing. So Nigeria ends up using about 20 to 30% of our national income, about 70 to 80% of our national income to service debt and for recurrent expenditure, leaving only 20 to 30% for capital expenditure. You can see why we are not moving forward. So the constitutions, the fundamental flaws in the constitution have led to insecurity, to poverty, to anger, to separatist movements because of the inherent social injustice and lack of equality in it. A constitution that does not recognize that there are 374 ethnic groups in Nigeria, that appears to deal only with the bigger groups, as if, for example, some of us who are minorities do not count. So we have continued to have this problem from the 1922 Clifford Constitution, the 1946 Arthur Richards Constitution, all of which were colonially imposed. Then up to the 1951 Mafasi Constitution, which tried to give us something of a federal setup, which was finally given to us after some constitutional conferences by the 1954 literature constitution. I can tell you that the two best constitutions we have so far held or had are the 1960 Independence Constitution and the 1963 Republican Constitution. One was still under our colonial masters, but the other one was when we became Republican. And the provisions in that 1963 Constitution were to the effect that regions, the three regions there, whatever they produce in their regions, they will have 50%, while the government as a center has 20%, and then the other three regions will share 30%. And that was how it was done. Now, how do we now birth a new constitution? The National Assembly is afraid that they are already in place and we want to exclude them. No. The National Assembly will be involved. It is central. I see a situation where an executive bill is introduced by Mr. President, where he does not, any member of the National Assembly called non-executive bill, or the patrons, or any member of the public, saying we want the National Assembly, the Senate and the House of Reps, to empower to have a law that brings about a constituent assembly, 3 representing each state of Nigeria, 1 for the FCT, making 109. They should form a constituent assembly that will meet, take all the 2014 over 600 recommendations of the National Conference, the provisions of the 1963 Constitution, the present work of amendment by the National Assembly, and then memoranda from all vital sectors of the society, the women, the youth, the students, the labor, elder statesmen and women, members of the military, traditional rulers, all of them will put forward memorandum. It is this that they will distill and draft a constitution. But that draft must be owned by the people to give it legitimacy. And that means it must be subjected to a referendum of the Nigerian people, as was done in 1996 in South Africa, as it was done in Kenya, as it has been done in Eritrea, in Bangladesh, in Iraq, in Iran, in Egypt. Why are we afraid of discussing ourselves? The way we are going, we can never get it right. And I want to say, Mr. Chairman, as I go to my seat, that the present setup of a presidential system of government is unworkable for Nigeria. America, yes, they have it. They have all the resources. And by the way, we need therefore to go to a parliamentary system of government, the type we had before January 15, 1966. It is less expensive, but more effective. Political parties campaign for votes, and they go to the center. The party with the majority forms the government, either alone or with some other parties. And then the prime minister comes from that party in the majority and is the head of the political party. He appoints ministers. All the ministers and the prime minister, the entire cabinet, are responsible to the legislature because they are all members of the legislature. The day the legislature passes a vote of no confidence on that government, the prime minister will resign automatically. So I want us to say that when we say we need a new constitution, it is because the present one is not taking us forward. In the year 1786, American Confederates, they decided to come together. They were already on their own, but they felt they needed a more perfect union because the center was too weak. So they met in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where they paneled out their articles, how we want to live together. 39 of them signed that constitutional draft that emerged from that convention that held between May 25 and September 17, 1887 in Philadelphia. And they agreed on having a presidential system of government, on a federal system of government, on separation of powers between the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature. And they also agreed that there would be what we call judicial review of executive actions. The reason they have stayed together with only 27 amendments since that time, a constitution that is just 7,591 words, is because they owned it. It was their document. They agreed to it. 39 of the out of the 50 people representatives signed, and it was subjected to a referendum of the American people. But our own constitution was given to us by military diktat, and nobody believes in it. No Nigerian believes in it. So everyone is like everyone to thy tent, O Israel. I think this is the time and opportunity we have now to reclaim our lost destiny. We are going without a compass. Any journey without a compass, you will be lost. It is unfortunate when as I stand here, I feel bad that this is the 4th time I'm coming out for a national conversation like this. I was at the 2005 National Political Conference. I was at the Vision 2020 in 2009. I was at the 2014 National Conference. And here we are today again. The reason being that we have not got it right. Let us not deceive ourselves. You cannot cure a major cancerous sore with a mere balm meant for eczema. A new constitution is the way to go. Like Naaman the leper, this is the time for Nigeria to dip our constitutional problems into River Jordan so that we can be cleansed of our leprosy. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, my